What's up, YouTube? This is Alex with Budget Mobile Auto. Today I'm not going to talk about what is going on out here because it hasn't changed. Everything's been the same since the last video I made. The freeways hasn't changed. Nothing's changed, really. One thing that has changed, though, is it's things that I really want to, I guess, get off my chest a little bit. And this is more for people that, you know what, if I sound crazy to you, turn the shit off. I don't want you to even hear the rest of it because obviously whatever I'm saying, you don't quite understand intellectually or you don't have enough, maybe you don't have enough information to go on it. Or maybe you're just not, you're not on the same wavelength as me. You're not stupid. You're probably a regular decent person. You probably don't have no problems understanding things. I'm not saying that you do, and don't take offense to that, but my whole point of that is, if you're not on my wavelength or my consciousness expansion, then please do just turn off the video and don't watch the rest of it because it doesn't make any sense to. But something I want to talk about is, one thing is, I guess hopefully most of you know the concept of shadow government, and if you don't, here's a very quick rundown of this. So if I'm sitting at home and, for example, it's really hard for me to try to make this understand. Okay, so if I don't know how to do something, for example, if I'm limited to a certain amount, like if I can't, I don't know. Let's say I don't know how to. Let's see. I don't know how to do a lawyer's job, per se. Let's say that. So instead of me having to do that job and go to court and have no success in that case or any case at all, if I were to go and try to do it myself, I wouldn't get very far. I mean, the chances of that is I'm not going to get very far. So I'd rather go spend money and find somebody that is good at what they do and know what they're doing in court and actually can win the case for me, has credibility. Shadow government is a little bit like that too. What happens is we have the government who are the lawyers for us, or no, I wouldn't say for us. If I were the shadow government, I would have my government bureaucrats as my lawyers, or people that know what they're doing in that field and have a higher chance of believability than I do. I would have hired those people instead of doing something I don't have a business doing. So that's shadow government. It's guys that have enough money to change the law, and that happens all the time because we have lobbyists. And most of you know, corporations can persuade very easily because they have the money to do it. And so the biggest concept here is that you guys need to understand is that it's a controlling factor of our government. So we really don't have the democracy we believe we have. We only have the democracy, or the idea of democracy, because it is helping those people. And it is helping the corporations to basically use the, free country type shit to bend us under their thumb. So secondly, now, I also want to talk about ownership of businesses, which also, media is owned by private businesses. They are not owned by the fucking government. The government itself is not even owned by the government or by the people that it's said that it's owned by. That has been already written off a long time ago by President Andrew Jackson. Thank you very fucking much, you asshole, for writing off our government and our people and enslaving us into the motherfucking system, into the motherfucking, what is it called? The central banking system. That's what it is. So we sold ourselves to the bank. The government's been sold to the bank. Everybody else has been sold to the bank. We don't have any gold backing any of our money. Therefore, meaning that our money is meaningless and it's an idea. So it's an idea installed in us to think that it has value. Anytime we see a dollar bill or anything that is a dollar that has to do with money, anything of value in that prospect, we immediately associate it with that concept, because we've been made to believe it. We've been drilled into our head that money is worth something. It's worth more than you. We've been made to believe that money is worth more than us, and actually that is the way the world acts as well, and most everybody acts this way. And it's as simple as And it's crazy to think that it's as simple as teaching people not to believe its value and to put value into something else. We can today figure out or come up with something completely different for currency if we wanted to, as a consciousness, as a collectiveness. If we didn't have anybody in our ears, we could, as a collective consciousness, decide today that we don't want to put value into money. And actually, that collective consciousness is the second concept of what I want to talk about, and how much that really matters. And so, as we all believe money has value, this coronavirus, and we know placebo works, is a placebo effect made by the, or what if? Let's just say this. This is a theory. This is not a proven fact. This is not a conspiracy theory. I don't want people to think that this is it. What I want people to think is that there is a lot of takes on this. There's a million ways to look at the situation. There's a million ways that it could be, and we actually need to do our research to get to the bottom of it and have proven fact, not just some conspiracy theory. And I hope this does not get all over the internet and become something that it's not. But reality is, we live in a world where media controls majority of our popular beliefs and opinions and a mass consciousness belief. And so on a mass scale, when you believe something, you become a part of it. Just like some people that I was seeing the news about were isolated and did not have technology, were isolated camping and doing other things when this first started, when people came back from those isolations 14, 15 days later in about a week into the actual lockdown, they were surprised to see the world completely different, because they were not a part of that mass consciousness or awareness. They were not made aware of that, and therefore did not become a part of that illness itself until they were made aware by other information, which was a mass consciousness information. Your government is lying to you. Your state government is lying to you. Your federal government is lying to you. Your municipal government is lying to you. And not because they know they're lying to you, it's because they think they're telling you the truth. They're not. And the reason why they're not telling you the truth, or can't tell you the truth, is because they don't know any better. They don't know how to do that job any better, to tell you the truth. Because they're being fed the same information that you're being fed. And the way that it works is because we put value into the government, authoritative value into the government. So when the government tells us something is going on, we immediately believe it. The media was made to spread, and it was specifically made in the Civil War era to spread propaganda. It is a true historic fact. That is something that is a fact. And you can take that, you can go right now and look that up. Just so that y'all know that this is a factual piece of information. That media was created to spread propaganda. It was not created to spread information or truthful information. It was created, specific reason. It was created just to spread propaganda. What is propaganda? Propaganda are lies. Things to make, they are pieces of information mass produced in order to falsely inform the public. And so the public, because of the placebo effect works on illnesses. You can cure yourself with placebo effect, and it's true, and it's happened many times over. They give you sugar pills, you believe it's the real thing, you heal. And actually, you heal faster and better, and for a lot longer period of time than if you were an actual medication that has side effects. Placebo effects has zero side effects, unless the person was made aware of the side effects. So really, we don't really know, in reality, if our cures, or what is it that actually makes us experience things. Is it the actual physical world outside that we can feel, touch, and smell? Or is it our mind that controls those things? And actually, by real scientific fact, which was proven by quantum physics, which has different sets of laws than our normal physics do, that our brain actually receives information rather than sending it out. So therefore, it's not that the world is coming into our eyes. Actually, we're projecting that world out with our mind, and that is actually a proven fact as well. And like I said, if you are not like-minded, if you don't have the mind or the capacity of intelligence to understand this, that if you don't have enough consciousness to actually understand this concept, please turn this video off so you do not spread fake information or fake news. So with all that in question, having a media so powerful to control our beliefs, which is what majority of how we live our life and how we survive or how we become and continue to live. If just because you believe you're alive and your heart beats is the reason why you're even alive. Because your consciousness that runs your body, that all of these functions that your body does, your heart does not have a brain. Your bowels do not have a brain. Your stomach does not have a brain. Your lungs do not have a brain. Your legs don't have a brain. Your hands don't have a brain. Everything comes from your actual central neural system of your brain. And all of these functions come attached from the brain. They do not come from the hand. Okay? Which is basically anything that you experience as an illness is attributable to however you believe and feel at that time. If you're depressed, and it will tell you this, if you're depressed, your immune system is lower. If you're upset and you're angry, your immune system is lower at that time. If you're happy and you're smiling and you're loving and you don't experience anxiety or fear emotions, you tend to be a much healthier person throughout your life. And if you're not, and you're plagued with anxiety and fear all the time, you actually end up being a sicker person. And that's the truth. That's actually true factual information again. So I'm not making any of this stuff up. All of this stuff I actually have learned throughout the years. And so putting it all together puts you in a position where if you were made to believe that you had the coronavirus, and the symptoms that you already know, and that you were described the symptoms over and over and over again. Do you know that it takes 30 times for someone to say something to themselves, or if all you need to be told is 30 times of something? Like, I just need to tell you that my face is red 30 times for you to start believing it. And you will actually it'll become fact to you. It'll actually become fact in your mind. You will start believing it. So without your own, and that's most of the time how people are, because without their own input, or without themselves seeing something, they only can go by the closest available information, which is the media most of the time. And because they're distancing us from each other, we can't talk to each other or see or anything. So there's a lot of things that are going on during this that don't make any sense. Well, it makes sense to me, it makes sense in one direction. There could be, there's other explanations to this, but to me, I see this explanation. I think that this is heavily mass media controlled. This is heavily conjured by our mind. This is heavily also conjured by the mass consciousness, and I believe that these things are instilled in our mind so that we experience these symptoms. And I think that anytime that we and when you install a belief in someone's mind that their lungs are not working, then their mind starts thinking that. Then that catches up, and if they're told that too many over and over and over again, then that person continuously will gradually get worse because they're self-diagnosing. That's why they tell you not to self-diagnose, because you can end up having that illness and literally speaking that into existence on your own self. So conjuring something into existence is a fact. And using the energy of mass consciousness, of mass human consciousness for a specific directive like this can only result in numbers that we see, in the deaths that we see. It can only result in these actual symptoms, because it's a slightly different version of the cold, And it's kind of funny because I've been out in the cold many times over. I've laid in puddles and many times over, and as long as I didn't believe that very next day I was going to be sick, or as long as I wasn't depressed at the moment, or my future wasn't bleak at the moment, I didn't end up getting sick. I have not. I don't usually get sick. I get sick every 3 to 4 years, and that's only because I think I get stressed out. I let my immune system drop, and I think I know the times that I have these illnesses are usually very stressful. The low times of my life, I'm not usually in a happy state. There's only maybe a handful of times in my life that I remember having any kind of illnesses that attributed to me not just purely not taking care of my body and really just excessively damaging my body, which I know at the times that I did that. But even in those times, the reason I was doing it was because I was depressed, was because I was trying to self-medicate. So it's the same concept. So think to yourselves, people, do not go out there and believe that this is a fake story or this is a fake idea, that they're just trying to tell us a lie. Don't go out there with that belief. Go out there with the belief that I don't want the coronavirus to touch me, and it is not going to touch me. You need to come into the belief in your head that it is not going to touch you, that you're not going to get sick, that you're not going to experience these symptoms, but you have to truly believe it. You can't just say it. You have to truly believe it. And if it takes 30 days, the next 30 days, I want you to wake up every single day. I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to tell yourself, I am not going to get the coronavirus. Tell yourself that for the next 30 days. Eventually, you're going to start believing that. Eventually, you're going to start living that. And eventually, you're going to start being able to walk around and protect yourself, and your body will protect itself. Including, I do walk around with gloves and a mask and protective shit, and I clean and all that stuff. I do all that stuff. But a lot of it is because I'm protecting myself. Even if it is a real thing, or if it's a germ or whatever the hell. They say it's an RNA, not a DNA, so therefore it's not a live thing, so it can't crawl and reproduce on its own. Actually, it doesn't have its own system to reproduce itself, supposedly. So if it's not alive, therefore it's probably not traceable. I don't understand how are you going to trace something that's not living? And how does something that's not living can affect a living thing and reproduce if it's not living? Think about that. What is life? What is being alive? Being alive is to expand and grow and to move forward. It's not to recess, it's to keep going up. That's what we see, that's our most of the people's definition of being alive, is to keep going up and expanding and learning and growing. That's being alive, growing. Not giving up. Pushing forward. All of these things are being alive. So my advice to everybody, please stay safe. If you don't have a strong enough mentality to make yourself if you don't have the mentality to make yourself believe that you're not going to catch the virus, don't go out there and put yourself out there. If you don't have the tools to actually be strong enough to get through this, then don't do it. Just don't do it. I work every day. I've seen people. I've gone out to houses. I go to the store every single day. I've gone to at least one store, if not two. I've gone to plenty of other places. I still, thank God, and still have not caught anything. Now, my family, that's my sister-in-law and my, I guess that would be my niece-in-law, my little niece, has just now got the coronavirus. This is from what we heard. They tested positive for it, from what we heard. And I'll tell you, my sister-in-law is a hypochondriac. I'm a very positive person, and I'm also a person that has a really, most people would have a hard time making me believe something or changing my mind into whatever they feel like they should change it to, unless there's real hard facts right in front of me, and or a situational fact. So You know, these are the things that you kind of sit back and think about all the time. And take your time to do that. Most people don't do it. People spend time, you know, people are spending time sitting there and watching TV all day, being on Facebook all day, watching this all day, doing this all day. I just think that people need to fucking get their shit together. You're sitting down for 30 days or more. Go on the internet. Go and get yourself on a higher consciousness. Higher consciousness exists. These things exist. Being on a higher massive consciousness is well worth it. That is something that y'all need to start doing. Because no one's going to do that shit for you. The government ain't going to do that shit for you. The fucking neighbor next door is not going to do that for you. Your best friend is not going to do that for you. You need to do that shit for yourself. Even if people think you're fucking crazy, do it for yourself. Do not do it in front of other people, because other people in the public are swayed to believe differently. So don't fucking live in that goddamn bubble. I've spent the last 5 years fighting with my family about whether I should run my own business or not. Because they kept telling me, no, you should go get a regular job like everybody else, which I couldn't see. I mean, I just couldn't even fathom and think even slightly that was going to be the answer for anything, because I didn't want to slave away the rest of my fucking life sitting at a desk or answering someone else that has absolutely hasn't even tried to earn my respect. I can't answer to people that I have no respect for, like a boss, and most people don't have the respect for their boss. They just are told that they have to listen to them by some fucking, you know. And most people stay in their jobs and continue to keep going in their jobs, even if beyond being happy. So I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna help people, and I hope it does. I hope it helps some people to get. Even if it helps one person, I'm okay with that. All right, y'all. Stay safe, man, and really think about the concept of the fact that this might be just a mass-induced conjuring of an illness that we are experiencing on a strictly placebo basis, because the media, being the propaganda machine that it is, has made us all believe it. All right, y'all. Deuces.